Good morning and happy Tuesday. Okay, so hopefully you've already done your morning warm up, so your brain is ready to do more math. This week, we're going to focus on reviewing everything we've learned in Module 11, or at least the most important points, because we've learned a lot over the last month. We started this back when we were all actually in the classroom together. I know. Anyway, so we're going to do a quick review today, and then I'm going to have you work some review problems on your own. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, you're going to do kind of one of those math practice tests. This will be just a quiz grade, but I'm going to give you an actual format of the test that we did when we were in the classroom. But at this point, it'll just be a quiz grade, just because with us not being together in the classroom, I don't feel comfortable giving you a big major test that I can't be there to help you with. So, but we still need to see how everybody's doing and get a feel for how well you're mastering the material. So you'll notice that I grabbed my math spiral where we took those notes starting last week with equivalent expressions, and I added a word at the bottom. You do not need to add this word. I just wanted to review this word, and I don't have I couldn't get my hands on my math spiral right now. We actually put this in your math spiral before the break, and I think it was either a blue little sheet of paper. It was a colored sheet of paper that I had copied from your book, and we just glued it in. And it had, let me see if I can show you what it looked like. Sorry, I should have had this turned to this page. It was when we started Module 11. And it looked like this little piece right here. It had the words algebraic expression, variable, constant, it had pictures, and it had all this vocabulary about, different ways we describe expressions when it comes to addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So it was a little piece of paper that we had cut and glued in our spiral. So you have that, but I wanted to go back over this word constant because it's been a while. Because constant and kind of variable go together. And it is in that part of your spiral if you need to go back and look at it. But just a review of a constant is a specific number whose value does not change. So 5 is always 5, it doesn't change. 3 is always 3, it doesn't change unless we do something to it. But in itself, it doesn't change. Whereas x or y is a variable, it changes all the time depending on what we decide y or x is. So those are the difference between those two words. And just wanted to make sure we went back over that word because it's going to come up. And it's been a month since we've talked about it. So I wanted to review that word. So you may want to go back and look at all of your notes for Module 11 as you prepare for our quiz on Thursday. We have tons of pages of this. But for now, I want to actually start reviewing a lesson at a time. So the first lesson, Module 11.1, and I went and put page numbers so you could take some time and go back within these should be in the pages. They should be in the pages of your binder because I'm pretty sure we tore out Module 11 before all this craziness happened. So it's not going to be in your book until we go to Module 12. Then we'll be, you don't have to tear the page out since you have your book. Okay, so Module 11 was basically when we were first learning how to write expressions. So that picture that I just showed you, this one, we were learning how to write them, and we were learning all the different vocabulary. And it was a pretty easy lesson. And so we're just going to review these 4, okay? So how would we write x less than 5? And remember the key was which words came first. It's x less than 5. So x less than 5 would be 5 minus x because it's x less than 5. And the best way to remember these is just to think of x as a 2. And if you said 2 less than 5, then you would have to have the 5 first because you're saying, oh, okay, I want 2 less than 5, which is 3. So if you just think of that x as a number, that might help you get them in the right order. Okay, so product, again, tells me that I'm multiplying, right? So, but we learned that we're not going to write z times x. I mean, we don't write it like that. We don't use the multiplication sign in algebraic expressions because it just looks like a variable x, which is too confusing. You're not going to see it really written like that either, because the constant which is the number, always comes before the variable. So all you're going to do for this one to show a product is just 8z. Really simple. Okay. This one now, they already gave it to you as an expression, but we want to use words to describe it. So how would you describe this one? This one could be the quotient of z and 5, right? Or it could just be z divided by 5. Okay, so you just need to be comfortable with this. You need to go back through these pages in lesson 11.1 and look over all the examples, look over the examples in your math spiral, and just kind of remind yourself of that vocabulary. And you should be pretty good at it by now. So this could be just 9 plus y, or it could be y more than 9. So just remember, there's different ways that you can, let me get that cursor out of the way. There's different ways that you can write it, okay? So that's a good review of these. These would be great to, I know a lot of you are running out of pages in your math spiral, and you don't necessarily have to put these in your spiral, but you're welcome to, because we may just have to start a new one, which is fine. Or you can just put this on some scratch paper in your binder so that you have it there when you're ready to practice for your do the practice problems tomorrow on Wednesday, and then everything will be open notes for the test, the quiz on Thursday. So having all of this is really, really helpful. Okay. All right. So we'll do a lesson 11.2, then we'll break, and then we'll go over a lesson 11.3 because that was harder. Okay. So lesson 11.2. This is, these are covered on page 301 to 304. This is when we started actually evaluating expressions, and we talked about the word evaluate just means to find the value. We don't say solve because it's not an equation, because there's not an equal sign. It's just learning that algebraic vocabulary. It's an expression because there's no equal sign. So we find the value of it, or we evaluate it, which basically means what's the answer, right? That's what usually people want to know, but we're going to evaluate it. So I didn't leave enough space here for myself, which is kind of dumb. So I'm going to write down here. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm going to rewrite them down here. This is 0.2 t, which, just like we were doing up here, a product, this means these are being multiplied together, right? So this is telling me that this is 0.2 times whatever t is. And then they're giving me t up here as 1.16. And oh, my dogs are about to start barking. Okay. The 1.16 times 0.2. Stanley, shh, come here. Come here. Oh, sorry. Someone's walking their dog. This is my life. You guys probably have a similar craziness going on at home. All right. So again, no calculators. I might let y'all use them for the quiz, but let's just try really hard to not use the calculators. Okay, because this is simple multiplication. Multiplying by 2, you can do this. 2 times 6 is 12. You put your 2, you regroup your 1. 2 times 2 is 1, and 1 more is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. You don't even need to multiply the zeros, but then how many decimal places are there? There's 2 decimal places here. There's 1 decimal place here. So I'm actually going to go 3 decimal places over. So my answer is 0.232, and I should put my 0 in front of it, right? Okay. Let's make sure Ms. Offit did the proper multiplication here. 1.16 times 0.2. Yes. Okay, I don't mind you checking your answers, but let's do it. So this would be evaluated as 0.232 if t is 1.16. Now t is a variable, so it can change. 0.2 is always going to be 0.2. Okay, this one's a little easier. I have a little more space here. For number 2, I'm going to do 6, and then I'm going to substitute in 9 for y, 9 minus 6. And then I'm just going to do 6 times 3, which is 18, right? Because first I'm going to take care of my parentheses, 3 times 6. All right, these are pretty simple. Then this one, we've got n minus y plus x, and then these are all the values for those variables for this particular expression. So n is 5, minus y is 3, plus x is 4. And I didn't give you a complicated one with positive and negative signs. If I'd made these positive or negative, you would have to think a little bit harder about, how to do this. I should have made them a little bit harder. But So then you're going to work left to right between subtraction and addition. So first I do 5 minus 3, which is 2, plus 4, which is 6. Okay, and I didn't leave a whole lot of space, but I think I can solve this one over here because this one's pretty simple. This is division. Remember, this represents multiplication. This represents division. This is a new thing that we've been talking about for the last month about how you express multiplication and division in algebraic expressions. Okay, you're not going to see division signs very often, and you're going to hardly ever see that dot. It's always just going to be like this or like this for division. So that's just something, the more I say it, I know I repeat myself a lot because I want to get it to stick. So this is just 16 divided by 4, which is 4. All right. Okay, so here's what I need you guys to do is if you're still unsure on some of these, you can go back to your book and you have all these pages. Okay, and I gave the page numbers. There's all of these examples here for 11-1. And if don't worry about the bar model ones, but look at this whole page, all of these. And I think we've already done these, so the answers should be there. If they're not, I'll be sure and email out this teacher edition. I know I emailed it like a month ago, but your parents have gotten a million emails since then. So I'll re-email this if you want to practice some more and just see how you're doing, and mom can check them. That's lesson 11-1. And then for lesson 11-2, there's tons of examples of them just evaluating expressions. Remember, these were the ones that were written really close together and kind of weird. And there's a lot more examples here. There's tons of examples, guys. There's a whole page of examples here, whole page here. A lot of these pages we've done. So I want you to be pretty comfortable with lesson 11-1 and 11-2. And I'm going to end this video just to keep them not so long. And then we will do one more over a lesson 3, and then you'll do some more practice problem. Okay, so